Thank you, everybody. If you remain standing, then the sermon will be shorter.
I want a long sermon.
It's so funny, you know, like, I was wondering, you know, how's Reverend Jackson going to introduce me, because a lot of the people here know me, the true story about me.
Yeah. I know the real story.
Oh my gosh. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Some of the TribeNet folks snuck out of TribeNet to come here.
Well,
Yamaguchi-san, hi. So, good morning. Good morning, Las Vegas. So first of all, thank you, Reverend Jackson. I agree with all the things he said about especially our, you know, friendship and unity as a team. These sub-regional directors, or sardines as I like to call us, sardines. You know, another thing we did together was bathe together.
hallelujah.
Yeah. Now you got to imagine the scene, because in Korea they have different sizes.
Lack of sizes is what they have.
Even like their triple XL is like maybe good for, you know, medium American male. So we're at the counter with Dr. Kim and the sub-regional directors, and Ingo like holds up the triple XL, and it's like, oh, maybe Demian? No, good. Reverend Rendell? Okay, John. You know, he did it though, because they're elastic, so.
Yeah, praise God. You'll never see me in spandex again.
He walked in, he did it, he wore them. I'll leave the rest to your imagination. Okay, what do I want to say? First of all, thank you, Reverend Jackson. Secondly, thank you, Reverend Du and Mrs. Du, because I really feel warm love in your church. So thank you so much for taking care of Las Vegas. Let's give the Du tribe a round of applause. Yeah, thank you. And especially the gift, what do you call that? Like a, what is this called?
It's the Paris Declaration.
How did you make this? This is awesome. This should be the new standard, right? Oh, I love that so much. This is a Cheongwagung Special Declaration Ceremony, April 14th, 2012. Yeah, probably we were there. And that's a beautiful, thank you so much. I really love that. And one in Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you so much. Really, that's beautiful. So what I wanted to say was that we are blessed. It was just about 2 weeks ago that we were together in not in Las Vegas. I got Las Vegas on my mind. We were in the other center of the Providence at Changpyeong. And so it's 6 o'clock in the morning, it's dark, and we're on our way up to see True Mother for breakfast. This is the day that we're on our way to the airport. You know, we had the Christmas celebration, and now we're on our way up. We get the call in the morning, Mother wants to see you guys for breakfast. So the 5 sardines and Reverend Busing, we go up to Mother's beautiful place, and we go into her dining room. Now, when you enter into her dining room, you got to understand, this room is so beautiful in every detail. And, you know, you're not allowed to take your phone and take pictures, so I can't show you a picture. I remember the first time I was there, I wanted to I had a notebook and a pen, so I wanted to try and write down every detail or describe it, because I thought this is maybe the only time I ever see this room, and I want my great-great-great-great-grandchildren to, you know, imagine what it was like, or maybe they'll all be able to see it by then, but anyway. You walk into this room and you feel love. On the one hand, you feel love. On the other hand, you're surrounded by a lot of men in suits. Right? Stiff suits, right? So my experience with a lot of men in a room is you know, it's good, you can hang out, but when you're in this kind of formal situation, you don't feel comfortable until a woman enters the room. It's like balances, right? Especially the true woman, right? Especially true mother, right? So that's kind of different. You might think, oh, when true mother, it's like gets tense, but actually when true mother comes, I can start to breathe. That's my experience. Is that your experience, John?
Exactly.
Except this time was a little bit different. She was very serious this time, but you're sitting at this beautiful table, this kind of Louis XIV, you know, upright chair made of really thick wood and embroidered, and, you know, cushioning. And you're sat at this wonderful table. You know, mother comes in, she sits down, you're eating breakfast. She serves a 3-course meal for breakfast. You know, so you're starting with an organic squash soup and a homemade bagel made with rice flour. And you're wondering, do I kind of just spread cream cheese all over the bagel and stuff it in my mouth? And you think, that probably is not what you're supposed to do. So you look around and other people are kind of taking little bits. And now you're starting to understand, this is why God brought you to England for your formal education. For times such as this. Because I can be American, but I can also be British. So I'm sitting there, upright. Not really looking left, not looking right. You take a moment to look at the beautiful silverware, the butter knife. You check where it's made. It's made in Italy, of course. As all fine things are. You wonder how many other beautiful elements in the room come from Italy, and you figure probably quite a bit. It's a beautiful room. The cornicing is like all gold. Did you notice? And you know, the number of windows, the way the curtains are hanging, you get the feeling that every architectural decision in the room was based on some providential number or meaning. Then you're getting through the soup, and you're timing it. You don't want to take too long, right? But you don't want to, you know, it's not a hamburger meal. It's the soup, there's people coming like... The soup's gone. The next course is a baked potato with a sausage, broccoli, and something else. You're thinking, it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. Do I eat the whole potato? Do I eat the skin? What's mother doing? Mother's got the same. Okay, mother's eating like this, right?
It was steak.
It was steak, okay. Steak. You're thinking it's 7 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't end there. It's a 3-course meal. At the end, you're served a slice of cake. This is all with water and juice and a beautiful cup of coffee. And you got a slice of cake. And the bagel's still there. And you've only eaten one half of it, a quarter, because that's how you eat a bagel, in bits. So you really feel mother's love, and you walk away realizing that the reason she fed you so well is because, kind of like, anybody raised on a farm? Any couple of you guys raised on a farm? So you eat a good breakfast on a farm. If you work in the farm, you got to eat good in the morning. Because what? You're not just going to lounge around until noon. You got a lot of work to do before even the sun rises. So you realize, oh, mother's loving us and feeding us well, John, because we got a lot of work to do. That's one of my takeaways.
That's for sure.
Right. So at this meeting in particular, we really felt a sense of mother's urgency. You know, in the movie, when the grandfather clock, you know, where the reverb kicks in and it's like overwhelming, time. You feel it, and you see mother, you know. I took a lot of detailed notes about this experience, including when she sighed, when she moved to the left, when she moved to the right, what I felt she was feeling. And we all had several meetings together afterwards to check, did you hear what I heard? Did you see what I saw? Did you feel what I felt? Right? And so basically, we all walked away with a sense that mother is, it's like, guys, I'm not looking for fanciful reports, okay? I'm not looking for what looks like it might be a victory. Whatever you do, you need to bring about national restoration by 2020. And you only have 1 year left. So all your ideas are great, but you only have 1 year left, and you must do it.
That's right.
You know, this last year, so Reverend Jackson explained, you know, this first moment when we were all assigned, I was in my Apple Heaven costume. So this is a cowboy shirt with like the black embroidered thing, if that's what you call it. And then I was wearing the waistcoat with sequins, what is it? So it was the black one or the blue one, kind of shiny. So I always tell everybody that I'm standing up there next to Mother, and there's these 5 of us there. They're all in suits and ties, and there's me standing there in my Apple Heaven costume, and I kind of felt like a Las Vegas waiter. And I don't know what you think you would think in that situation when completely unexpected Mother calls you up and you're appointed to some important position. But all I was thinking is, oh my God, what am I wearing? This photo is going to go down in history as that guy on the right wearing the funny thing. There's a story behind it, but I felt kind of weird. It's been a great year, though, because we made this incredible friendship, this team among the 5 sub-regional directors, together with Reverend Busing, who I couldn't have picked a better person for the job at the time also, because everybody was unclear about how do we do this, and he just gave us the space and encouraged us. Also, the members at headquarters, Reverend Busing was so kind. You know, I don't know what you think it feels like when you're working on something at headquarters and the president walks into the room. How do you think you might feel? Oh, I better stop watching YouTube videos now. Well, you feel like, okay, he's watching, you know, he's checking what we're doing. But whenever Reverend Busing came into the whatever wing you were in, you just felt like, ah, Grandpappy's here, you know? You just felt love. And whenever Marjorie would speak or talk or share, you know, spiritually, before you've even listened to the end of her first sentence, you feel like you're in front of this banquet of, you know, candies and cookies and cakes. Like, it's just, you know, oh, you know. So this is such a heavenly couple, and it's actually an incredibly important role that Mother's asked them to play in America in a position that hasn't really existed until now, which is the president of the Senior Pastors Association. So let's give Reverend Busing a round of applause. And, you know, each of us were tasked to go and build a new headquarters, build a nation in your sub-region, and that all happens with your first relationship. So, of course, our first relationship is with Dr. Kim, with President Busing. The second relationship is with our Secretary Generals. This is a not very highly used term in America, but this is an extremely important position. So it's the number 2 position. And my relationship with Milhan was incredible. Because he, you know, he flipped from his position to going into a number 2 position with me at a sub-regional level. Everything's changed, everything's different. And so you kind of think about like a Joshua and Caleb, that kind of relationship. He was, you know, and Mother's talked about how Caleb was really the, you know, kind of like the one she's really proud of. And so that's my feeling about Milhan. I don't know if I could have gone through his course and done it. He is such a trooper and totally united with me. And together we were able to tour around, visit communities, and get people inspired about this crazy idea to have a rally at the end of the year in November at Nassau. But Mother accepted that experience as a total victory. And so I really want to honor Subregion 1, that whole team, Milhan and everybody. And I really also want to thank you guys from here for your support and all around the country. This was a national offering, and Mother was totally blown away, happy with us all. So thank you. So, who are we? Who are we?
The luckiest human beings ever.
I love it. Are we a providential people?
Yes. Yes.
Are we a providential people?
Yes.
Okay, everybody that said yes, you don't have to say yes again. Are we a providential people?
Yes.
Is Las Vegas a providential city?
Yes.
You ever stop to think about how many people must be prepared in this city to be here with you? You think about that, right? How many people do you think? Let's put a number on it. 5?
4,300.
4,300. Any other numbers? 10,000. Any other takers? I got a 10. I got a 10 on the right with the lady in the blood pressure. I got a 10, I got a 4. Can I get an 11? Can I, what? 1 million people. Surely more than the 100 or 120 of us here There must be thousands of people prepared in Las Vegas, right? Yes. Praying right now to meet who?
Christ.
You. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Come on, preacher.
Now I can do it for you. You let me loose. I can unbuckle down, unbuckle. So who are we? Well, we are, one thing we are, is Americans. Stand up if you're American. It's okay if you're not standing up. Don't feel pressure. Okay, now, stay as you are. And I want to remind you of something before I ask you the question again. When we refer to the pilgrims, do we call them European pilgrims? No. What do we call them? American pilgrims. Did they have green cards, though? No. Were they born here, though? No. Do they have passports? No. Were they called here by God to build a new heavenly kingdom? Yes. Then I ask you again, are you Americans? Yes. If you're Americans, stand up. Yes. If you're not Americans, then I don't know what you're doing here. Everybody, please take your rightful place and stand up. You are American. I don't care where you were born or what documents you have at home. Nada sando. America, miguk saram. I know you're Japanese, but I can only speak a little bit of Korean. Okay, all Americans, please make yourselves comfortable. I just need to test you a couple times and get you working your knees. So what does it mean to be American? This is a unique country. This is a providential country with a providential purpose. What is it? Restore the world. It is our unique responsibility to recognize, attend, and protect the true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, who happen to come from Korea. But their main mission was to expand from America. So what is our job? Is to find them, attend them, protect them, and proclaim them to the world. This is our job. Not just our job, but the guys down the street, the ladies down the road, the business owners. All of us as Americans have this innate responsibility. If you come to this land, that's your job description. Are we in agreement? Yes. We are also blessed families. As blessed families, we have been blessed, we've been forgiven, we're anointed, and we have the opportunity and the authority to multiply that blessing. We have the power to change people's lives. We have the power to change people's lives. We have the power to change people's lineage. We have the power to change people's lineage. We have the power to change people's cellular structure.
That's right. Amen.
For eternity. Yes. We have the power to support someone to realign their whole ancestry. Yes. And liberate their ancestors and bless them. We are God's children. Are we? Yes. So think about it. As God's children, we are blessed with the capacity to love. We have the capacity to love, to forgive. It's possible for every cell of your body to resonate, to vibrate, to explode out the dust, and to fill your environment with joy and love. You have that potential, no? Yes. We have that potential as God's children. We have creative force and power to create whatever we want. So, should we solve problems? Yes. I don't want to solve problems. The problem for me with solving problems is you have to start with the problem. That's not inspiring. You know, it's just a mindset thing, but we don't really need to focus on the problems, guys. I know a lot of us are very good at it. We have files at home with a lot of research. This is my experience. It's so easy to get bogged down with being clever about solving problems. Here's the problem with solving problems, okay? In my experience, Satan wants you to win. He wants you to fight a good fight, and he wants you to win an important fight. As long as it's not the fight you're supposed to be fighting. How Satan tricks you is to get you all excited and content about winning the fight you're not even supposed to be having.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's right.
All the while doing that, I have the mind to be proud of it, to tell others about it, what a great job I'm doing in this area or that. We've all been tricked by this, I know. I haven't met anybody that I haven't seen doing it. We all do it. I think it's not very inspiring. Because when we think from the point of view of national restoration, guys, what I'm looking at is an offering table. We have an offering table. Okay, do you see it? It's empty right now. It's actually a lot of things on there. But just for a moment, imagine the offering table. Here it is. There's God and there's two parents in front of this offering table. There's a piece of paper on the wall that says Foundation Day 2020. Okay? And on that offering table, we are going to put something. What are we going to put on that offering table? Huh? No, we're going to bring the nation to this offering table. Right?
Yes.
We're going to bring the leaders of this nation and the leaders of major religions to this offering table. I see it. Do you see it?
Yes.
We have to focus on that offering. This is our work. Do you see it?
Yes.
So anything that doesn't have anything to do with bringing that about is secondary, no?
Yes.
But we'll walk away from this sermon and argue about this. As you argue about it, I ask you to consider what value is it if it does not have anything to do with our primary responsibility to bring this offering, when we only have 1 year left. So I like to think in that term, like outcome. Let's focus on really what we're doing, where we're going. And then we can figure out, okay, if absolute victory is guaranteed within the next 14 months, what do we got to do to get there? Otherwise, we're going to get carried away with being creative in all other directions that don't have anything to do with that. And I promise you, we will be victorious in those other areas. But what does it matter? Right now, what does it matter? We are tribal messiahs. We are tribal messiahs.
Not you.
This is higher than any rank in any organization or in any church.
That's right.
It's higher than world president. As a tribal messiah, this is a role that is not just a witnessing activity. This isn't a system to grow the church. Honestly, I wouldn't be doing my job if that was my job. I'm not interested in that. Just this, right? I'm much more inspired about bringing the nation, building a nation, saving a nation, than building a church. There's lots of great churches if you want to have a good church experience. Right, Reverend Williams? So what are we here for, right? Where is our scriptural reading today? I didn't hear it. Is that my responsibility to share it? On you? Do we have it? Is it in the thing?
Yes.
Can you read it?
Yes.
Thanks.
The church is to seek and establish God's nation. Its purpose is not to seek and establish the church. God's original idea of creation is to make this world a unified world centered on that nation, and therefore the aim of the church should be to seek that nation. How do we do this? Cain and Abel must become one. Unless Cain and Abel become one, we cannot establish the nation.
Okay, so here's how it's going to work. We're going to fulfill our tribal messiahship, guys. Everybody. I don't have some percentage of families in terms of my goal. I'm not interested in 10% or 50% of us. I want no one left behind.
That's right.
Everyone is going to be involved, and we're going to help each other get there. Right, John?
Right. Yep.
We're all in this together, guys. Okay? So tribal messiahship is the key. Okay? Now, again, it's not a witnessing activity. Tribal messiahship is your salvation. It's the fulfillment of everything that God's been preparing for you and for me. And the first member of your tribe is?
My wife.
Your spouse, your parents, your children, your family. So within the realm of your successful tribal messiahship will include the happiness of your family. Would you like that? Mm-hmm. So we need to really invest in each other. And then when we come together, we have to remember, what is our core mission? Let's wait till 2025 to develop all those other great ideas that we have. Let's really focus together on what we have to achieve this year. It's very serious. So Mother said very simply, you're lucky that America is a Christian nation. If you fulfill tribal messiahship, you will be able to embrace all of Christianity. And on that foundation, you can save the nation. So what's our mission? Tribal messiahship, Christianity, nation. Okay? That's the Mother's direction. You can clap, Yamaguchi-san. We all know how powerful Kei Yamaguchi is already working in this realm very well. So we have to learn from one another. That's why right now we're all gathered in IPEC for TribeNet. Raise your hand if you didn't know that. Raise your hand if you were unaware that we're right now having a tribal messiahship workshop. Raise your hand if you knew about it. Okay, so everybody should really be there. And if you don't have anything to learn, you should be there to teach others. If you don't know what you're doing, then you should be there to learn from others. You should think like that. So, you know, tribal messiahship in America, let's be honest, it used to be something that we heard about, right? And then it used to be something that occasionally a pastor would preach about, right? Right? Yes. And then it kind of became a side project of one of the departments in headquarters. And then it became the primary mindset of the sub-regional director. Now, I tell you this, tribal messiahship is the core ministry of the American movement.
That's right. Amen.
And if you're wondering where you personally fit into it, don't worry, because it's not a church growth program. If you're a child, it has to do with the relationship between you and your parents, you and your brothers and sisters, you and your peers at school. Every one of us has the fruit in our pocket to bring to the table. And if we work together, we'll be able to reach high-level VIPs that have, you know, we don't need to argue about whether we're keeping a building, selling a building, buying a building. Let's get the whole city.
Yeah.
You understand? We're going to get the whole nation. You have people coming to you, knocking on your door, wanting to be a part of what you have. Believe me, it's happening and it will happen. Do you believe it? Yes. So we are tribal messiahs. And through our tribal messiahship activity, we'll embrace Christianity. And I don't mean embrace Christianity. I mean embrace Christianity in tears and in a loving hug. Just the way Jacob offered his heart to Esau, and Esau had nothing but love to give in return. Do you understand? Yes. So we have something to inherit. This is a Christian nation. And unlike we as Christians 2,000 years ago thought we could do without the 4,000 years of preparation for the, you know, we want to reach into our roots and pull out the nutrients and say, God, thank you. And we will bring these to fruition. Do you understand? Yes. So we're tribal messiahs, and we're going to be victorious by embracing Christianity. We have exactly 1 year and 2 months, thereabouts, to bring about national restoration of the United States. In other words, this year, we will restore America. In other words, this year, we will fulfill the conditions necessary for heaven to recognize the United States of America as having fulfilled its elder sonship responsibility, restored itself to be able to save the world. Aju? This year. This year. This is the year it's happening. Las Vegas, LA, San Francisco, San Diego, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, Dallas. All of our major areas will be like this. Why? I'm really not that inspired by, you know, 10% church growth or even saving one city. Don't you think it's more inspiring to save the entire nation? Yes. It starts right here with you and your family. Okay? You have the power to save the nation within your family. Isn't that incredible? The foundation of tribal messiahship is how it's going to happen. Can we get on with it? Like, don't have any doubt that you can't do it. We can do it. And we have to think about, like, let's get excited about helping the rest of the world already. Because frankly, we're a little bit behind. We should have been doing it already. I want to get on with the job of saving America so America can help the world. Really help the world. Right? Since you guys walked in here this morning, another 7,000 people died. Recently, I've heard Mother refer to indemnity more often than I've heard her ever refer to indemnity. And she's drawing parallels to previous chosen peoples failing in that, in their work. She keeps talking about how providential people, given a mission, if they fail, have to incur indemnity. What that means is indemnity is an option. It is an option. What that really means is a prolongation is an option. Absolutely, we will all be in the kingdom of heaven. I'm an absolute optimist in that regard. But the amount of time we want to take to do it is our choice. So we've chosen this year for America. Aju? This year. So Mother mentioned something at breakfast. She mentioned many things. She also said this. She said, don't think for one moment that it's not possible. Don't think. Okay, raise your hand if you ever thought it wasn't possible. Go on. Go, raise your hand if you at some point in time thought that it wasn't possible. Hi, you! No, not I, you. Shouldn't think that way. Mother said, don't think it's not possible. She said, what did she say? Where?
Absolutely unacceptable.
It's absolutely unacceptable to think for one moment it's not possible. She said, if you seek, you shall. Oh, you guys, you know everything. You know what she said. You're really connected. She also said this. She said that during Father's final prayer, you know, when he said, I've completed everything, she said that was conditional, right, John? She said, this is conditional. I'm responsible to substantiate it, right? So is True Mother responsible to restore America? Who's responsible to restore America? Who? That's right. It is not True Mother's responsibility to save America. It is our responsibility, don't you think? Can you feel that? Because at this breakfast, I'm telling you, she started to show physically signs that I didn't see her share with us before. Like it's an intimate moment. And let me just put it this way. She must, for decades, I mean, she has an incredible skill to not burden her children, us, with a sense of panic or concern about how she might be feeling inside, don't you think, as a mother? She has to keep us stable and steady and calm. I really felt love that she, you know, trusted us enough to show, even physically, how she's feeling internally. Tell me if I'm wrong, I felt, she, you know, just in terms of the internal emotion that was being driven, guys, I need you to do it. Listen, I'm desperate. I need you to come with the actual fruits. I see it plain and clear. It's totally doable. You've been prepared. In fact, you're more prepared people than any people in human history. I don't know why you'd even entertain the idea that it's not possible. It's completely unacceptable. You're totally anointed, appointed, and ready to do it. It's all in front of you. Can you just, gosh darn well, turn the key and do it? Please, I need my children to bring the offering to the table. Please, now, this year. Mom is tired. She said, I'm 76 years old. In 10 years, how old do you think I'll be? Luckily, that was a really easy math question. She answered it herself. I'm going to be 86. So like he said, you know, we're talking about rallies. Rallies are great. Oh, it's all fine and good. But it's not about inviting me. It's about fulfilling your responsibility. When we put down the deposit for Nassau Coliseum, you know that we were told 95% chance Mother's not going to come. Because she has to go to Africa that month. You don't know all the inside out behind the scenes story, I know. But this is the reality. We were told it's very likely Mother can't come. She's already booked on this day, this day, this day in Africa. It's unlikely she's going to come to America. But Reverend Du, when we put down the money for the Coliseum, we had to do it with the confidence that either way we would bring a victory, with Mother coming or without Mother coming. We actually, I remember, I had to go through that, internal mind to be ready to speak in front of thousands of people Mother's message. Okay? We have to own it. Exactly. We are the owners. Mother said we are the owners. So we have to love each other and love America and our American brothers and sisters as the true owners of this land. Mother mentioned in her her midnight address, did you hear what she said about the ancestors who have been offering devotion and sacrificed their lives for the nation, for the will of heaven, she said, for the will of heaven. Do you remember that? She's talking about how they knew very little, and yet still they gave everything for the will of heaven. So why did that impress upon me? Because, honestly, most of the conversations that I've been in with people who are not doing their best, by their own admission, most of the reasons I see why people don't act and move is because they're caught into either an internal or an external debate. And at the root of that debate, although we have many excuses why not to fulfill, I have many excuses why not to fulfill my responsibility. Right? I'm sure you will have many good reasons why, we're not Heavenly Tribal Messiahs, big foundations. We all have reasons, right? We all have reasons, justifications, right? But when I look underneath those, I usually find at the root of it some sense of, well, I can't really do it. I don't know how to do it. Or I'm not ready to do it. Or my family's not strong enough to do it. Yeah, I like the idea of saving the nation, but honestly, I go home and I can't even get my husband to clean up his mess. Or whatever. We have daily things and challenges, right? So underneath it, most of the time I find people feel I can't do it or I don't know enough yet. So we stay into these intellectual debates sometimes also. It's like, well, it should be this way. No, it should be that way. It should be this way. We put a lot of hard work. We feel kind of good with ourselves because at least we put a lot of debate time into it. But the outcome is nothing, right? And especially in America. I know in Korea we're so much more artistic. But in America we kind of process here first. And we tend to be legalistic. We tend to kind of take everything literally. And we process, and we don't want to act until we've really thought things through. You know what I mean, right, Jim? Yes. We want to really make sure it's the right thing before we do it, okay? This is less common in Italy, where we're kind of a little bit happier to fly by the seat of our pants. And in Italy, we're so good at solving problems last minute that we continually create problems to solve, to show off our skills. But Mother said this, that our ancestors gave their lives knowing much less than we know. So what does that mean to you? Right? It means at a certain point, just get on with it. Just do it. Okay, Mom and Dad is saying do this. Oh, why do this? Shouldn't it do that way? It's not going to work here like that. I know. I've tried. I've done it. We did it. Oh, you did it? No, I did it. It worked this way. It's not going to work the way you say it. It's going to work this way. Mom and Dad come again. We'll do this. Okay, yes. Well, but we really can't do it. I don't know how we're going to do it. This is like what's happened. This is like the shadow side of how we as humans, ultimately quite lazy, don't really want to change. But Mother said, change daily. She wants to see daily results. And she didn't make all these changes because she wants everything to stay the same. At least that's my very basic mathematical assessment of it. The point is, our ancestors gave up much more than we're being asked to do with much less awareness about the why or the how. They didn't know heaven's will as much as we do. And yet can we really give ourselves the excuse that, well, we don't know enough yet when we've been given more than anyone in human history? Right? That's worth considering, right? Because ultimately, we are citizens of Chonilguk. We're in Chonilguk, and we are citizens of Chonilguk, and we don't have to get wrapped up into the bads and the... We don't... This is already after the era of coming of heaven, right? We don't have to keep referring to the fall, okay? We've been given a chance to operate. We've been given a chance to build the kingdom. It's for real. We're all anointed and appointed to do this. Doesn't matter your temporary mission assignment, guys. All these positions are temporary. But each of us as a husband, as a wife, as a father, a mother, as a daughter, as a son, as a tribal messiah, as a providential person, we will get to the day when we can go down to the stream and sing with our family. That's not the day yet, although you might take a weekend break. We are not there yet as a people. We're not there yet as a world. We have a world to save. There's people out there with real world problems. You know, it's kind of like unificationists. We have first world problems spiritually compared to what a lot of other people. And well, no, I'm not quite perfect yet enough to be a model for others. Gosh darn it, that's a lie. The least of us is equipped to multiply goodness in so many ways more than others have been given. So we're a providential people, and we're Chonilguk citizens, so let us act like it. Let us love like it. Let us sing like it. Right? We don't need to solve problems. We don't even need to create solutions. Let's just get happy with creating joy, love, harmony, happiness. You know what you need to do, right? Yes. And let's throw away the lists. This is what I asked them at Belvedere last week. Let's throw away our lists. You know what lists I'm referring to? I'm not talking about your name list, Mrs. Yamaguchi. I'm talking about the list of gripes that you have towards your spouse because they did this on that day, or they did this on that day, or your children didn't do this, or your parents didn't do that, right? Or your pastor didn't do this or that, or your members didn't do this or that. Let's burn those lists, okay? Let's start afresh. Mother needs us to be peppy, be quick, lickety-split. And that's right. If you can't run straight up the mountain, just whiz around the side. Either way, we got to go.
Thank you, Captain.
We're children of God. We're Chonilguk citizens, born and called in the time to save the greatest nation in history for the sake of the world providence. And we're not in competition with Korea and Japan, by the way. Right. Korea and Japan hold unique parental role responsibilities in the world. So, on behalf of the American movement, I say to Japan, Japan, we love you. And we thank you for everything you've given, knowing that we don't even know 1% of it. And while we, like kind of spoiled teenagers, may have laid in bed a little bit long and not really cleaned our room yet or taken care of business, while you're out there selling your homes and sacrificing everything to help the world providence centering on America, we're really grateful. We're waking up now, we're standing up now, and we're ready not only to say thank you, but to help you in return. And to Korea, we want to say, what a beautiful people. What a beautiful people. You need our help, but we're here to help you like any good son's going to come and help their papa. Because we're proud of you, and we're proud of mom, and no matter what, we're going to be a team. And we're going to give whatever talent, resources, and skill and creativity that we have been given and develop it and offer it for the sake of the world so that you don't have to carry the entire weight alone any longer. Aju? So we will bring about national restoration by 2020. We will bring about national restoration by 2020, and we will do it together. All right? We are blessed. So let's go out and share the blessing, all right? Let's go out and meet the people that right now are praying to meet you. There's people right now praying to meet you. In fact, you probably saw them on the way here or on the way to work yesterday. And you may have even said hi, or you may have thought nothing of it. But I promise you, the people that heaven has prepared you to meet, you already know, or you know the person that's waiting to introduce you. When you make the conditions necessary to just open up to that. And you already are doing it, I'm sure, in many respects. But we need to get on with business, right? We are a blessed people. We're going to bring about national nation by 2020 in the United States. We're going to be the frontline channel good nation, and we're going to make the world smile and be happy, and we're not going to do it arrogantly. America's going to stand up like the humble elder brother, and we're going to be willing even to give up our own name. We should be willing to give up our own nation for the sake of world peace, don't you think? Can we lead America like that? If we have this kind of mind, don't you think we can educate our leaders of their rightful responsibility? We are the owners. People who, presidents are only in office for 4 to 8 years. Okay? We're in the game long term, right? We are the owners. We're going to unite with Christianity by fulfilling our own responsibility first. What right do we have to go to the Christian churches without fulfilling our own responsibility anyway? But we have to do it together. We can't wait to be perfect. I can't wait to be the perfect husband before I go to work. Otherwise, I'm never going to get out of bed. Feel free to say that's not true. So, guys, we have the most exciting mission in the world. I've been to a lot of the other countries. Per capita, we have the most freedom, space, and resource and trust than any other community in the world. I tell you. And there's people with far less right now doing incredible things. One testimony we heard yesterday at the Tribal Messiahship Conference is David Earl from Europe. Had no foundation of tribal messiahship. Didn't know what to do. Thought, I got to save this city. That's first thing I think is good. He thought, I got to save the city. He's not just thinking about my 430. He's thinking, I'm going to save this city. And so what did he do? He goes to the graveyard and he seeks the most highly or elevated ancestors of that city. And he picks 12 of them. And then he sets himself on a course of 40 days. And during these 40 days, he kneels for 10 minutes at each gravestone and reads to them from the Holy Scripture, Chunsangyang, for 10 minutes a day, 12 times for 40 days. And then, throughout the course of this condition, he gets a revelation to look behind one of the gravestones. He looks behind one of the gravestones, and there listed are a list of names of the descendants of this ancestor. And so he looks up, thanks to Google, he looks up who these people are and where they live. And then he goes, he doesn't sit at home debating, he just goes to the place, the descendant of the ancestor that he's been praying for, asking the ancestors to please guide the descendants so that we may together work to save this city. He goes and he knocks on the door. They open the door and say, why are you here? For 1 week, our ancestors have been frustrating us, telling us that we have to prepare for somebody who's coming, and we have to get ready for somebody who's coming. Why are you here? And so he tells them the story. And turns out this guy, this family, has bunches of organizations with thousands of people under him. He like finished his 430 like that. So these types of people are there. The spirit world is ready. The work that we will succeed in doing, the victory of bringing the nation restored by 2020, okay, with the president, with the key religious figures, and with all of our tribal messiahships, arm in arm with Christianity, we're going to take this country back for God. And we're going to bring it to the table for God. And when we look back from that line of victory, and when we look back down the road that we have traveled, whether we walked over the mountain or around it, we will see that we were hand in hand doing it together. And we will see a path of Zhongzhong. We will see a path that we offered our devotion and our faith and trust in God, in each other, and importantly in ourselves. And we will see great people who have been praying and longing to be of service to the providence, but didn't know where to start. Although they had built foundations and built peoples and businesses and money, they didn't know where to bring it. And it is you that is going to be their salvation. You are the lock that they have the key for. And when they do that, or vice versa, they will feel their own fulfillment. So when we look back from the line of victory, we will see great Americans, great people that we did it together with. So let us walk out of this room with that kind of mind, that we've been chosen not to do it by myself, to do it together, and be mindful of the people that are praying to meet you right now. We're blessed, so let's share it and get to work. Adieu. Thank you, brothers and sisters.